Yo, people, what's going on? What's going down? I'm back for the player ratings for, of course, none other than the brilliant, the long time coming Arsenal win, 1-0 win, 1-0 to the Arsenal. Clean sheet, 3 points in the bag. Pep Guardiola in the mud. Man City in the mud. Kyle Walker in the mud. Brilliant scenes, fantastic weekend. Without further ado, people, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's get it. Grr, David Raya. You see David Raya? Yeah? I'm not really feeling the whole criticism thing with his thing. I think people need to be a bit more calm and just a bit more like, yo, it's not that simple, that easy in terms of playing for a big club, playing against a big club in a pressurized game. You need a few minutes here and there, a few situations to kind of get settled. And that's effectively what we saw in the second half. Listen, I'm going to give him an 8. I think it's a clean sheet against Manchester City. 8 years in the game, 8 years in the making. No keeper was able to do that. No keeper was able to even see a win in the Premier League against them in that time, Manchester City. And yeah, I think he's brilliant. I think he's fantastic. I think, yeah, of course, there's shaky moments. What keeper is not going to have shaky moments and stuff like that? We shouldn't be targeting him. If anything, we should be, having discussions with his manager, because his manager telling him, yo, no matter how pressurized it gets, you're playing that ball feet, playing on the ground. And that's what he's done. I think he was brilliant, commanding his box, doing everything that needs to be done. He's just got more of a presence than Ramsdale. Ramsdale, I love him, you don't know. But Raya is the undisputed number one. Clearly, we've all accepted that now, and it is what it is, man. Clean sheet, can't go wrong, man. He gets a 8 for me. Now, of course, moving into that back four, that famous back four, Benjamin, yeah? It's not Ben, it's Benjamin, yeah? Hey, Tiki Taka, Nutmeg, Benjamin White, Benny Blanco, my brother, my G. He gets a straight 9 for me. I think he was brilliant in this game. You get more or less the composure, the professionalism-ish, because sometimes he can move a bit mad, like he wants to scrap and whatnot. But I like that. You need that with some players. There's people within the squad that need to have that fight in them, and Benny Blanco is most certainly one of them. In terms of obviously just football, listen, he's a brilliant fullback. This guy is predominantly a centre back, and look how he plays, defends and backs and supports his wingers each and every single time. Can overlap through the outside, can go in on the inside. Great with throwings, great with crosses, passes back into the middle. He gets a straight 9 for me. I don't care. Benny Blanco is my brother. Moving on to this centre back pairing, William Saliba. Hey, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and only now I'm finding out that he was all injured or he's got some sort of problem. Donny had to have an injection to be pain-free for this game. Lasted the entire game. He's a titan. The way how he reads the game, the way how he last ditch, like it's just mad. One-on-one defending, aerial ability is crazy, bro. And he can play football, he can pass, he can come out of his comfort zone into the midfield and spray a lovely pass like Gabriel, Saliba and Gabriel, of course, we're going to talk about next. These men are the best centre-back partnership we've seen in the Premier League. I don't care. Please tell me a better one. Please, because I can't think of a better one. 9 for me. 9, 9, 9. And he's big bro. Like, that's big bro right here. Gabriel Maga. Huh? My guy, Magalhães. Hey, yo, this is a mad thing. If we're able to keep hold of these two for years and years and years to come, I'm telling you, these men are going to get to the Nesta and Maldini levels, just lock down everything. It'll be title after title, because you win titles locking down the defense and witnessing what we're effectively starting to witness, I guess, since the last season to this season with these two, with Saliba and Gabriel. Listen, 9 for me. It goes without saying. Leader, fantastic giant on the pitch, brilliant footballer, and great with his passes, great with his tackling. What else do you want from somebody like Gabriel? And of course, fullback position, we're going to go into Zinchenko. Of course, Zinchenko, look, I say that to say this. I think he's been defending much better, 101 and stuff like that. I think he's one of the best vertical passers we have in the squad. I love the way how sometimes he finds the forward man with aerial passes, sometimes that triangle on the floor ball. And I think as you're seeing improvements from him. Finally, he's not doing all of the verbal anymore. He's just professional, sticking to his job. I'm going to give him an 8. The only reason I'm giving him slightly lower is because he cannot last 90 minutes at this moment in time. So fitness-wise, it's not really there. But I say that to say this, man, Zinchenko, well done, because I can definitely see improvements in you, which are improvements that I'm enjoying. Like I'm actually starting to really see him as the forefront sort of guy within the team. You know, in terms of like the first few names on the team sheet, it's critical that he plays, because he just slots into that midfield and he makes us so much more comfortable and he makes us so much more assured. Now moving on to the midfield. Now this was the thing that was a bit surprising for me, because I'm like, raw, like how is it possible that Jorginho is starting? But I say that to say this: what do we know, football fans? Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, because this man had a game of his life. He was brilliant. He just kept things easy, flowing, ticking. Got the yellow card, got the fouls when he needed to. He's great at buying fouls. He's great at just kind of getting a bit more of that attention from the refs. Great at just giving the team a little bit of respite. Great at just doing the dark arts when needed to be done. And I've realized that when you have Jorginho sitting next to another defensive midfielder, someone who's going to be worried about the defense and take care of the defending aspect of things, Jorginho's as good as anyone. So I'm going to give him an A. I think he was brilliant in this game. That's literally what I'm trying to say. Now, of course, midfield, you know, I think the midfield effectively yesterday is where the game was won. You know, most of the times, the game's won in the midfield. That midfield battle is key, is critical. And I say all of that to say this, people. What you are witnessing here is for me anyway, this is my personal opinion. I've accepted and embraced this. This is the best player I've seen come at Arsenal since like years ago, bro. In terms of ability, in terms of leadership, in terms of tenacity, in terms of just everything, bro. Energy, like last ditch tackles, he's interceptions, it's unbelievable. Like the Declan Rice, you see me, I never really have favorite players that I'm like, yo, this player. That maybe the last one potentially essentially was Sanchez. But since then, and even before then, I wasn't really like, yeah, whatever. But bro, you see this guy here, like I can actually safely say Declan Rice is my favorite player in Arsenal at this moment in time. And we're only 8 games in. This guy, as you can see here, player of the month, player of the, like, it's mad thing, bro. He gets a 10. I don't care if he didn't score. I don't care if he didn't assist. I'm telling you, like, right now, watch that game back. We would have not have won that game, especially with Saka being out and Martinelli only coming in the second half. We would have not won that game without Declan Rice. That clearance on the line, that header clearance, that's it right there. 1-0 Manchester City. And then they would have continued to try to nullify and continue to try to press, and eventually would have got the second goal. Backs against it. Like, trust me, we would have lost that game. If anything, best case scenario, drew that game. But because of the way how he's just agile and the way how he's just robust and the way how he's just like, I cannot speak more highly of him. And I think he's really come in to change everything, bro, for Arsenal. Like, really, that's as mad as it is. He gets a 10 for me. And normally, you know, player ratings, you don't see 10s, you don't see people being given this rating, especially when they don't score, don't assist. But I think what he brought into this game yesterday, bro, I'm telling you, like, right now, this is why we bought him. This is why he was here. And for that reason, and for that reason alone, you know, imposing himself in the squad, in these games, these big games, 8 games in, and I have to give him a 10, because I just think he's just done unbelievable. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Other people will have other, how can I say, opinions of who the man of the match was. You could easily give it to Gabriel. You could easily give it to Saliba. You could easily give it to so many people, even, you know, other players in the team as well. But for me, it's going to be Declan Rice again getting that accolade. And so we're moving forward. Now the captain, of course, the captain himself, Martin Odegaard. I think Martin Odegaard struggled a little bit in the first half, but I think he was able to kind of find a little bit more space in the second half. I think he was able to kind of, you know, impose himself a little bit more in the game. You know, there were many aspects of his game that you really need that space with Martin Odegaard. But look, nonetheless, I think in terms of geeing up his players, his teammates, geeing up the crowd, being there in key critical moments to link up play, being there to be able to kind of fill that midfield as well. I think he did all of that. Of course, didn't get on a score sheet, didn't assist or anything like that. But look, it is what it is, man. He's really becoming like a captain that you can actually say, "Rah, do you know what? Say no more." And he's led Arsenal to a win as captain. 8 years in the making, no wins prior to that. He's the man that's obviously, able to stand up now and say, look, we beat them in the Premier League and it was under my leadership. So for that, he's going to get an 8. Number 8, Odegaard gets an 8 straight up. That's the midfield, people. Gabriel Jesus. Now, Gabriel Jesus, for me, is an incredible situation with him because in terms of fitness, we see him improve his fitness to such an extent that now he's starting games and finishing games. And this is what we wanted to see from Jesus because I'll be honest, if he's going to be that guy, if he's going to be, that winger or that centre forward that comes in and does the business for us, you need to start, bro. And you need to be last in 90 minutes. You can't be out here getting injured week in, week out, and then you're available this time and then you're not available. And then maybe you're showing signs of, you're tired and stuff like that. Look, no goals yesterday, no assists, but he was critical to the way how we played, critical to stretching Man City all the way to the other. Like he was critical in making space for other players to come in and allow us to hold a little bit more of that possession when we essentially got the ball. Gabriel Jesus, again, no goals, but I think he was, again, a brilliant player, performed brilliantly. He gets a 8 for me. I'm going to give him an 8 because I think essentially I wanted to see him in that centre forward role, but of course Nketiah was there. But he did a lot on that wing, he kind of slotted in Saka's position. Of course, he's not Bukayo Saka, but all in all, I think he did okay. I think he did all right. He gets an 8 for me. Now to the other side of the wing, we saw none other than your boy Trossard, Leandro Trossard. Leandro Trossard, since he's come back from injury, it's not really happened for him yet. I don't think he was that bad in the first half, but he's definitely looking like fitness-wise and stuff like that. He's not exactly there yet. You know where I'm coming from? And I feel as though that's obviously affecting his game. Martinelli's back, so we know that from this point onwards, moving forward, we're going to be seeing Martinelli start again on that sort of left side berth. And look, it is what it is. Got subbed at second half. Didn't really have too much of an impact, but I did think he was okay in that first half. He gets a 7 for me. Ultimately, we won the game, 3 points, clean sheet. Can't be giving man 6s and all of these things. He gets a 7 for me, Leandro Trossard. And Eddie Nketiah. Now, Eddie Nketiah, I wish he'd scored. I'll be honest and I'll be real. Like, I wish Eddie Nketiah had scored. I think it would have done wonders for him if he had scored, but he didn't. Look, it was a peak day for strikers as a whole. Haaland had a stinker. You can say he had a stinker as well in Nketiah because in terms of his ability and like his skill set, especially games like this, like it's not going to happen. You see games like this, yeah, you need an absolute killer of a predator of a centre forward who's going to have that one chance and he's just going to whack it in 1-0 or 2-1 or whatever. So for me, Nketiah, he's just not that guy. He needs 3 or 4 chances to be able to hit the target and stuff like that. Sometimes it can happen from the first time. I'm not saying it's always like that, but I just feel as though with Nketiah, like it needs to be the right game for him. Otherwise, he just does not have the impact that you want your centre forward to have. There was moments in that game when I was literally saying to myself, if we have an Ivan Toney, a Ferguson, someone with of that sort of ilk, that sort of build, bro, this game would have been different. It's a target, man. Just like how they have Haaland. It's just that obviously we've got centre backs that completely shut down Haaland. I say all of that to say this. I do appreciate Nketiah's hard work, his work ethic. I do appreciate a lot of the things that he does for the team. He tries to work hard for the team, and you know that Mikel won't stand for any other situation. If you're not scoring and firing all cylinders, at the least, the very minimum you're going to do is work your socks off for the team. And I believe he did that. And for that, he's going to get a 7 for me, Eddie Nketiah. And yeah, that completes the starting 11. Now, in terms of the substitutions, I think the substitutions, to be fair and to be honest, they had a big part to play. None other than Tomiyasu coming in for Zinchenko in the 75th minute. And we all saw what happened there. Like Tomiyasu, like God knows what the hell he was doing over there, so advanced. But look, may it continue. And if that's something that what's his name? If that's something that Mikel is working on with him, as I said, make it a consistent thing. Coming off the bench and then essentially just having the extra legs, the extra physicality to be able to affect the game, to be able to essentially do what he did there. And I think Tomiyasu, he's going to get an 8 for me because he was crucial to that game, to that goal that we scored, and I think he was professional when he came on, did what he needed to do essentially. Also, Thomas Partey, if you guys actually remember, Thomas Partey initiated a pass, and this is why I said with players like Zinchenko, players like Partey, I love those type of players because they play vertical passes. A lot of the time, it's not about backwards and sideways. Look, I know that's a tactic, and I know we want to kind of reset formation wise and stuff like that. This is the element of that more control this season. A lot of the times you see Arsenal when they can attack, they essentially kind of hold back, reset everyone in their position, make sure we, activate that positional play football that we want to do, and then kind of build and then, try to get the goal. But all in all, with a Partey, you just saw him, keeping things neat, tidy, and then bam, gets the ball, vertical pass, long pass to Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu heads it down, and heads it down to none other than Kai Havertz, who is again another substitution, 75th minute as well for Eddie Nketiah. Kai Havertz tries to control the ball, bring it down on his chest, and then just lays it for Gabriel Martinelli, who also was the subs. The subs yesterday were incredible, and I'm going to give Mikel his rating because in accordance to that, because it was perfect timing and the right types of substitutions. And yeah, Havertz, going away with an assist. Partey being critical to that build up to that goal as well. Both of them, all of them are going to get 8. Essentially, all the subs are going to get 8. Of course, these subs specifically, Martinelli, I've already given him his rating. And if I haven't, he's just going to go straight into a 9 as well as the goal scorer. And yeah, people, it was a bit. How can I say? It was a bit. I was a bit upset not to see Smith Rowe, but it is where it is. With Smith Rowe, we know that he's working on the things that he needs to be working on. He's working on his fitness and bits and bobs like that. And I'm sure we will see him in other competitions. The Premier League, it is where it is. The Premier League needs to be a consistent, a constant type of team. Of course, you're going to have tweaks here and there because of injuries and stuff like that. But we know the Premier League's 11 and who the subs are that come on to actually make a difference and so forth. Now, last but not least, Mikel Arteta, the rating for him is a 10. I think he was manager of the match. Finally, the apprentice winning against the master gave Pep Guardiola his cones back, as Robbie famously said on his AFTV fan cam, like, bro, here's your cones. I'm the guy now. And, you're seeing even with him, you're seeing improvements this year with Mikel. Like, you're seeing him become more of that authority type of manager. You've seen him become a bit more calmer in press conferences. Pitch side on match days in the dugout, he's still very emotional. He's still quite livid and very animated. I think he needs to calm down a little bit more. As I said previously, that kind of, it seeps into the crowd. It seeps into the players, and sometimes it can have a negative effect. It can create more anxiety as opposed to keeping things calm and keeping that belief there that you're going to get some sort of result. But look, all in all, I say all of that to say this: brilliant tactics, brilliant substitutions, brilliant man management, brilliant game management. 10 for me as well. Brilliant, and long time in the making. And in my preview, I said it. I said Mikel Arteta, we have to really start to give him props because we've gone to Old Trafford and we got the win there. We've gone to Tottenham Stadium, we got the win there. We've beaten Man City. Like, he is, at one point, the negative records were being created by him and all of that. But now he's starting to create new records or break records or long time situations which are full of positive. And this is definitely one of them. 8 years, 12 games in a row. I think it was no wins against Manchester City. Here comes the apprentice who used to work for Manchester City to beat Manchester City for the Arsenal. Listen, people, I'm going to leave it there. 20 minutes in. Drop a like on the video. Let me know what you guys thought of the game. Let me know if you guys agree with my player ratings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share, like, subscribe, all of that jazz. I hope you guys have a lovely week. I hope everybody enjoys their week. We got off to an international 2-week break again, which is going to be so poor. But look, as soon as that break is done, we're straight back in it. Chelsea, hey, coming for you, like, mad thing. Mad thing. 3-0. I'm saying it right here, right now. Listen, people, I'll see you lot when we're back from the international break. Peace and love.